Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the sunny Ventura Cigar Company studio. And with me today is the whole crew. We have Jiunn Liu, Seth Geis, and John McTavish. Hey, gentlemen, doing?
Pretty good. It's New Year's Eve for us today.
That's right.
Happy New Year's Day.
Happy New Year's.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. I was going to say, Jiunn, where the hell are you, man?
I don't know.
Happy sober afternoon before a night of bad decisions.
It's a bad decision.
So much fucking drinking lately, you guys. I'm constantly taking shits. I probably took 2-3 shits every day.
This is a great start to a video.
Yeah, it was really engaging the audience with this one today.
I'm sure they're going to plaster it all over social media that they want to figure this one out. But. All right. Well, maybe this crew will. I mean, actually. So today we're talking about the Barba One and Only 2018 Super Toro. It's kind of a Toro Extra. I don't know how to just define this one. Toro Extra.
Double Robusto.
6.5 by 54. Yeah. Double Robusto is a 5 by 60, isn't it?
Not Cuban double Robusto.
Oh, what's a Cuban double Robusto?
Actually, I think no, double Robustos I think are
54.
54, yeah.
54? Oh.
But what by what? 5 by 54?
No, it'd be 5.5 or 6 by 54.
Yeah, this is 6.5 by 54. So this is that's
a
Toro. It's
massive.
Toro Extra, right? So.
Name council. Sure. The name council does not approve your Vitola selection today.
So, cigar comes out of Tobacco William Ventura and Dominican Republic. Wrappers Ecuadorian Habano. Binder is undisclosed. The fillers from the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Pennsylvania. Blended by Tony Bellotto and Henderson Ventura. Price point is $13. Cigar was released in September of 2018. So, with all that out of the way, Jiunn, what was your smoking experience like?
I thought it was a consistently good cigar. First couple of thirds, a lot of bread yeast components, and every time I say if something tastes like bread or something like yeasty, I also mean that it has a really creamy profile to it, and a sweetness that's often associated with not necessarily sweet bread, but just natural sweetness from bread. I also got quite a bit of cedar, some mild tannins coating the entire palate, which I really dug. And then come second, third, I started getting some minerals added to it. Retrohaling the cigar, mild pepper, white pepper, black pepper kind of a mix. A lot of cedar, a lot of minerals. Finish was on the shorter end, but what's really interesting about the finish I thought for the cigar was it was super clean. I really get a clean finish with the non-Cuban cigars. I get it oftentimes with Cuban cigars, so it's kind of reminiscent of that. Strength and body-wise, medium. The only thing is within the last third, the profile kind of shifted from that bready yeastiness to more of a flip-flop of spice and wood, like cedar, earth minerals kind of a thing. So, and then construction-wise, it was really good. Performance, I thought it was very good. Only downside was a couple of touch-ups, but not a big deal. And draw was perfect.
All right, Seth, how about you? What were your thoughts on the cigar?
Yeah, I mean it was a complex smoke. First third, really nice. I was getting this little herbal spice, slight lemon quality to it. There's some soft spices, some mineral qualities. I got some creaminess, and also this little, soft meat kind of a profile. And it was kind of medium full in the first third. Getting into the second third, still showing that herbal lemon profile. It was creamy. There's some spice. Got some coffee as well. Still smoking at that medium to medium full level. Then when I get into the final third, it's just lemon spice, herbal, woody. I got some hay qualities. Still smoking that medium full level for strength and body. Really nice construction. Just really complex, flavorful, nice transitioning. Very good experience. What about you, Surgeon?
Well, I think we had a lot of flavor crossover. For the first third, I got a lot of, and I would definitely say, medium. It's medium right out of the gate, which isn't to say it's overpowering, but, it doesn't build up. It's just immediate medium right out of the gate. So I got a lot of fresh cedar, chocolate, just sort of a nice sweetness that underlied all the flavors. And I wouldn't say it was a cloying sweetness. It just kind of anchored everything together. Baking spices were there, and they built up nicely through the first third. A little bit of post-raw leather, which was good, and not overpowering, just kind of more of an accent flavor. I would say the cedar kind of evolved as that first third went on, and it started to take over the profile and became a sweet cedar, and then I think really became wood forward by the time it hit the middle third. And then some interesting change-ups in the middle third. I got that citrus that you were talking about, Seth, and it was sort of very stark, not sharp, but like it stood out. And sometimes I find citrus in cigars can be really buried, and this was, it's just like, whoa, I'm getting citrus. And so that's kind of nice when you can pick that up in a cigar and it's defined. You don't have to reach for it. I got the sweet hay about the halfway mark and sort of settled back into like citrus, sweet hay, and a little bit of wood forward in the middle third. Last third, really no change ups, although I did get some mild char, and then I found the sort of intensity of all the flavors dropped off pretty sharply as the first third settled in. In terms of burn and construction, I rated it as very good. Being a nitpicker reviewer, I would say the first third was slightly wavy and ended up with a canoe that required a touch up, and then a touch up in the final third. So really pretty minor stuff, and again, could be the conditions in which I'm smoking. In terms of draw, perfect, absolutely perfect, right in the middle of open and tight. So you could be nitpicky, but it's as perfect gets. Aaron?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started with oak and some mild baking spice. A little further in, that baking spice increases a little bit, and some mustiness joined in with it. About an inch and a half in, oak and baking spice, mustiness all kind of equal levels. Retrohale is pretty much the same, except for a little bit of bite to the baking spice. As the first third comes to a close, mustiness and baking spice have a slight lead over the oak, and strength was kind of mild medium. In the second third, mustiness has a lead over the oak and the baking spice, and then a little further, the oak and mustiness become even, and the baking spice leaves the profile. A little bit of bitterness present in the background. About an inch in, the oak gains some toastiness to it. And the bitterness is only really slightly detectable in the finish. Retrohale is similar, has a bit more of the mustiness present there. And as the second third is wrapping up, the bitterness comes back to the profile at a little bit of a higher level than before. And the strength bump up slightly below medium. Final third, bitterness is the focus of the profile, has a really long lingering finish. Musty oak's the other core component, but it's lost the toasted note. About a quarter inch in, I perform a flaming purge, produces a pretty nice long-lasting flame from that. After the purge and a little bit of rest, that bitterness subsides quite a bit. Just some musty oak back up front, and the bitterness is faint in the background. And as the third's wrapping up, starts to warm up, brings some mintiness into the profile. Strength bumps up to be right at medium. In regards to construction, burns just a little bit wavy throughout. Ash held on about 1.5 inch increments. And in regards to the draw, it was a little tighter than I prefer, but didn't really cause any issues with the smoking experience. So, Jiunn, what were your overall thoughts on this cigar?
I like this one. I actually liked all the new releases that. Wait, how many did we smoke? All the new releases from Tony this year, or
Yes.
are we missing out on some?
As far as I know, it was just the Ricochet in this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I liked this one just as just as much as I like the Ricochet. Actually, no, I like the Ricochet more. But this is good. I don't like big ass cigars like this Super Toro or just bigger ring gauge like that. Anytime I kind of get over 50 or like 52, I get kind of like, oh man, I gotta smoke this shit. But it's about the flavors. The flavors are good. I dug especially that clean finish that I got. And just personal taste wise, I really like cigars that has a lot of flavor, but it doesn't like give you like a heavy hand of like strength. And so I really dug that about the cigar too. And it's just, I think Tony did really well this year for me. So this is no different.
All right, Seth, how about you? What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jiunn. It's a big stick. I mean, it's one of these things. I've gotten to the point now that you wouldn't think there's a big difference between like a 6x50 and a 6x54, but there's a huge difference. That's my 3-year-old. But it's just but it's really flavorful, and he did a great job of, with it being a big cigar, just keeping interest. Really nice flavor profile. It was just balanced. I think Tony does phenomenal stuff to begin with. That was Katie. And as Jiunn said, it's, for 2 releases out of 2018, what a great year in my opinion.
Yeah.
But this is, it sucks that it's kind of limited edition. But at the same time, I don't think I'd buy this cigar that often just because of the size, but it's really, for what you get, the flavor wise, it's really enjoyable. Surgeon John.
I'm gonna regurgitate a lot of what's said. I think the word you use, balance. I think that's a good way to describe this cigar, because you can talk about flavors and different components all day long, but if your flavors are all over the map and you've got some that are really full bodied and some that are light plus, sometimes that can like lead to palate fatigue for me because I'm just constantly reaching for the flavors. And I never really found that with this cigar. Definitely echoing what everyone says about the size. I mean, if you like base cigars, it's a great choice, but man, I put in 2 hours and 50 minutes, and that's a lot of smoke. Like, I can smoke 2 cigars in 2 hours and 50 minutes, which, if you like that, then you're getting great value, because that's it's great. If you're going to be smoking for 3 hours, then you'll be happy, I think. Aaron, you?
Yeah, for me, the cigar took a little bit to get going for that oak and the mustiness, and the baking spice became like cohesive flavors. It was just kind of like, 3 different islands out there that you're just kind of taking shots at. As it went along, cigar kind of fizzled out for me. I mean, baking spice left and bitterness came in. Really, a bit of an issue in the second half of the cigar. Construction was good. Strength never got above medium. If this was offered in another Vitola, I'd be more interested in something a bit smaller, just to see if I can get some more focused flavors. But as it stands, probably not something I'm going to revisit. I will echo the sentiments of the size. Especially if you're not enjoying the cigar, the bigger the cigar, not the better. So, I didn't smoke the previous release of the One and Only, so I couldn't compare how they go together. But I don't know. I'd be interested in trying it just to see. But I will agree that Old Barba had a good year. I just don't feel that they were both at the same high level. I definitely think the Ricochet was the better one out of the two. But that's just my palate. So getting the scores, we'll start at the top. Seth 8.08. Jiunn was next at a 7.07. John at third at 6.72, and then I had a 5.50. So Seth's 808.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I personally found the cigar phenomenal. I don't think Tony, Caldwell gets a lot of attention with the Ventura factory, and Caldwell gets a lot of attention. I don't think Tony gets nearly enough attention for what he deserves. I think he's got a great palate and he makes phenomenal cigars. This is, I didn't smoke the previous One and Only, but I think this one's fantastic. And it's kind of great to see. I mean, this is very different than Ricochet. It's completely done a different offering, and they're both great. So yeah, man.
All right, Jiunn 7.07.
No, it's a great score. It means consistently good flavor profile, very good constructed cigar. Bouncing off of what Seth was saying, the couple of times we smoked new Caldwell cigars this year, and I bitched about it, and I was like, "What is this strong, heavy shit?" I wanted to go back to what he does, right? I kind of feel like Tony did what I was complaining about, what Caldwell was doing this year. Meaning, I feel like Tony came out with a stronger, heavier blend, such as that Ricochet, using, I think that was Mexican San Andreas. And I kind of wish that, Caldwell went that direction as well, instead of going this, all this, what is it, sun-grown stuff that he came out with, and the mad mother effer, But anyway, speaking of this cigar, this is great. I really enjoyed it.
All right, John, 6.72.
Yeah, it's about right. I mean, for me, I think what kept it from being in the sevens was the last third for me didn't finish very strong, and I think it could be cropped up to a show sample, like maybe the regular releases now fix that last third. And I think if the last third was performing the same level of first and second third, I'd be up in the sevens with the rest of the guys. And I agree, it's nice when a cigar manufacturer comes out with 2 cigars in a year and they don't cannibalize from their own flavor profile. And, the Ricochet and this smoke, very different. And that's good, because you don't want to be cannibalizing so that, cigars start to taste the same, because quite frankly, that's not a good thing. Aaron?
Yeah, my score matches. I mean, it took a while to warm up. It got to that point where I thought it was good in the first third, and then it just started going downhill. And the final third, the bitterness was just not a good place to be. I mean, really good construction, but it's just slightly above average for me. I'd love to like it more. I mean, I'd love to like every cigar a lot, but it just didn't work out for me. So, all right. Any other final thoughts from this cigar? I mean, we kind of talked about through everything about how good a year that Tony was having and stuff like that. But any other final thoughts on this cigar or what he's done this year?
I like that he just did it in one size. I like that it's, I like when you do a limited edition and just do it one size. I mean, while you may not care for the size, maybe it's one of these things that is just smoked best in this offering. So,
Right. Yeah.
I would love to see Tony release this next year in a Lonsdale.
ooh,
Just throwing it out there.
All right.
I love the secret tobacco. I bet it's that Dominican tobacco that he and Caldwell have used that Ventura can only buy exclusively, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Philip Morris. You never know. You know.
All right.
Bold.
If you just catch this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.